I was not the first to say it, but I've said it often on this show. Brown would probably tell me Clay Travis said it first, but I don't think South Carolina lives up to the hype and the expectations, which is why I disagree with LT's list. Show me the list. Let's show you LT's rankings of the SEC quarterbacks. He puts LaNorris Sellers number 1. I felt like yesterday or earlier this week you were trying to tell Pate or somebody that Mateer was your favorite, but you went Sellers over Mateers.
I mean, I brought this up to Pate. I was like, obviously very subjective, very difficult to do, and that was kind of my point. But I was like, I've got Sellers 1, Mateer 2, and Nussmeier 3. And I forgot exactly how Pate answered that. But if you watch LaNorris Sellers last year, to me, pure talent, he has got the most talent of any quarterback I've seen in the SEC.
But to be good at quarterback, you got to have people around you.
No doubt. So I'm not saying that equates to another 9-win season. I kind of lean with you based on schedule. They're probably a 7-5 team. But just watching Sellers, and it seemed like kind of the wake-me-up moment was that Alabama win or loss that they almost came back and won. And
it did feel like a win.
Yeah, and he did miss a couple of throws late. But after that, that's when they went on that 6-game winning streak, and he was playing next level.
Now, keep in mind with Mateer at Oklahoma, new to the SEC here, he was at Washington State, and how this happened is they hire his offensive coordinator, Arbuckle, first at Oklahoma. But in order to take the job, he tells Oklahoma, I'm only taking the job if I can bring Mateer with him. So it was a package deal all along between Arbuckle and Mateer to be at Oklahoma together. Wherever the OC was going, he was going to take Mateer with him.
Okay, let me say this about Mateer. A lot of people are saying his game's not going to translate going from Washington State to the SEC. He is going to be playing with much more talented players around him.
Than Sellers.
Watching Mateer, like he was winning or keeping them in games single-handedly last year. I know the competition wasn't what he will face. If the offensive line isn't improved, it doesn't matter who's at quarterback. And that's another reason, and we'll get to Jackson Arnold in a minute. Well, I think he's going to be so much better because I think the offensive line is going to be so much better.
But you view Oklahoma having upgraded in this deal.
Yes.
The Mateer for Jackson Arnold trade, essentially.
Yeah, I think Mateer's a better quarterback.
So, so Oklahoma has lost their starter but upgraded. Yep. Okay. I don't know how many people feel that way. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, I think Mateer is probably one's always going to be a hot button unless it's a slam dunk. 2 years ago, if we did this and I put Jaden Daniels, nobody's going to say anything. But because there's no, if you put Arch Manning at number 1, people are going to be like, how in the hell can Arch Manning be number 1? He hadn't started a full season, which I get. And that's, he might end up being the most talented guy. And I feel like he's going to be really successful with the skill around him in that system. But I haven't seen enough of him.
Listen, I don't want to stick it to Peyton Thorne as he walks out the back door, right? But Jackson Arnold is an upgrade for Auburn, so it's a win-win situation in both these places, right?
Yeah, I would think this is kind of like the Goff and Stafford deal. Win-win, right? Detroit did well.
Oh, I know it's an upgrade for Auburn. I was just curious if you also viewed it as an upgrade for Oklahoma. Okay.
Yeah. Now you've got –
obviously you do.
In your ranking, you've got Auburn now with a top 6 quarterback in the SEC.
I think Jackson Arnold's going to be that good. I really do. I don't think he had much of a fighting shot last year.
So with that receiving room, if they can get all O-line right, I like Alston at running back. With that receiving room, if you've got a top 6 quarterback in the SEC, you should be pretty darn good at Auburn offensively.
I think he is one of those guys a lot of people are going to be talking about. Man, we didn't realize how good this Jackson Arnold guy was. He got sacked 50 times last year. It was an awful offensive line. Not only that, let's not forget that Brent Venables panicked on quarterbacks and couldn't really find a rotation. He yanks Arnold his first SEC start.
That's right. Now, that was a terrible SEC start, but again, it was not all his fault.
And a horrible coaching decision by Brent Venables.
Oh, you thought so?
Yeah.
I did not in that game. Dunaway, they couldn't move the football.
Yeah, but it wasn't Jackson Arnold's fault.
But the backup came in and moved the football.
Yeah, because he was running.
I mean, Jim, you can't just discount that.
It was only because he was running, but
okay, well, that's sometimes why you change quarterbacks to get a different.
Sometimes you don't want to lose the season because you're having a bad moment in a part of a game. It's just my opinion. Yeah. We can differ on that.
We will.
I mean, we got to go 12 games.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't play out, and Arnold came back in and at times played well for them.
Nussmeier and Manning was your 3 and 4 on the list. Everyone will say, okay, Manning at 4. You're just trying to make a list to not have Manning up there, but I think that's fair. No. He's sight unseen.
Yeah, I mean, really, I thought hard about putting Nussmeier at number 1.
Yeah,
Just because
he's my number one.
Well, just because he's got a lot around him. But I'm just saying pure talent, what I saw from LaNorris Sellers, and it's funny because I didn't realize this thing had blown up as much and how people would be upset their quarterback wasn't high enough or their quarterback's too low, whatever. But the one knock was people were like, and you must not watch football at all if you've got Sellers at number one. Did you even watch him play last year? I didn't respond to any of it, but yeah, a lot.
Yeah. All right, we watch a lot of SEC football.
I'd say.
But Nussmeier, who I like, I think Arch Manning will be really good. DJ Lagway comes in at 5. The kid obviously has a lot of talent.
A lot of talent, but, one of the reasons I would have had him higher, I don't know how healthy he's going to be.
Now, you do have Alabama's Ty Simpson right there at number 8. When you look down the list, after DJ Lagway, Jackson Arnold, I think we know what we have. After that, it's not the most impressive group of quarterbacks in the SEC. We've had deeper quarterback rosters in the league when we had 12 teams, 14 teams, 16 teams.
Yeah, here's where it became a problem. Guys like Austin Simmons, we saw him that first drive against Georgia. I think he's going to be really good. It's a Lane Kiffin offense, so he's going to have an opportunity to put up big numbers. Same with Ty Simpson, with Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer. A lot of these guys we haven't seen a lot of, and that was the other kind of hot button. How do you have Diego Pavia that low?
No.
That low.
Oh, my God. Everybody was like, Diego is so much better than all of these other guys you've got on here.
There's no way.
No, there is not a single coach in the top 8 of your rankings right there that would trade their quarterback for Diego Pavia.
And that's
not
what I look
one.
at. I mean, and so I looked at my rankings again. I'm like, I wouldn't change it. Like, I feel pretty good about this.
The one I find most interesting is Gunnar Stockton at 12. Like, I didn't watch him and think he was a world beater, but to see Georgia's quarterback all the way at number 12 is a little bit stunning to me.
Obviously, the team was excited when he came in the second half of the SEC championship game after the injury to Carson Beck. But I don't think you watched him in the college football playoffs and thought that he could navigate the schedule they've got to navigate and win a championship for Georgia.
I felt it was unfair, but, like, you give me one of those guys that you feel really good Gunnar Stockton should be in front of. It does seem weird.
Again, I'm not going to make that argument that he should be in front of any of them.
And I would ask, and then back to Dunaway's point.
I would have Pavia behind him. I just think Diego Pavia is going to have a flat season, second time around the league.
You might have gotten death threats for that.
With these defensive coordinators. I would have Pavia down.
But honestly, the Stockton thing, how many of those coaches, how many of the 11 in front would be like, okay, I'll give you our quarterback for Diego or for Gunnar Stockton.
To your point with Pavia, Dunaway, I don't think Kirby would trade Stockton for Pavia, and I don't think Lee would trade Pavia for Stockton. I think Lee would rather go to battle with Diego Pavia than Gunnar Stockton, but I don't think Kirby would say, I'll take Diego Pavia.
Pavia wouldn't fit the talent they have at Georgia, and Stockton couldn't do for Vandy with their talent what Pavia does for them.